To painting this dude. I went through and popped all the ends in because it was so rough. And this is a color match from Sherwin Williams. The original color is from Creative. So no matter what, I got to paint corner to corner. And what I'm doing right now is cutting this edge out so I'm not going too far up onto the trim. Because if I give anything outside this corner, I'm going to have to blend clear up into here, and I don't want to do all that. Because sometimes, like I said, it's easier just to paint it. So, but this house has like, it's kind of weird because like, if you notice, we didn't go through and caulk this, but we caulked other things. He kind of just went through and pointed out what he wanted, what he felt like he needed done at the time. And I noticed that I noticed over the time of doing this stuff, if you just caulk it all in the first time, it'll actually last a little bit longer. Because I was like, if you ever see any of my videos, I try to explain like what the caulking is actually for, and caulking will actually help hold the job. It'll help hold the structure up a little bit better. Like if I caulk that, it would have helped this from moving. And if you notice, like this is busted. This one here is not, but this one did. And it's probably because it had like a thin layer of caulking on it just to begin with. So the thinner the caulking, the easier it is for it to tear. So when you put a little thicker bead on it, it'll actually hold it a little bit better. It's just one of those things, depending on, especially with a window like this, being on the first floor and being an existing window, it'll move a lot. The hotter it gets outside, the more everything shrinks. In the wintertime, everything swells, and vice versa. Like sometimes in rainy seasons, your house will swell up. You ever notice, like, you come inside one day and your front door is sticking? And it's like, it's never done that before. It's because, depending on the weather. But right now, I'm just cutting this edge out to here. So I'm trying to get. if you notice, around this track, it's really tight. So I'm just trying to get this part right here wet. So when I take over out here, I can just cut this straight line across here and then bring it out. But I'm going to jump over here and do this side too. They open the windows in the summertime at night, so I gotta treat this window as it opens. What I get paint on and make sure that I get everything painted. Because if you get a skipper, that's what we call an area that you missed. It'll stand out like a sore thumb. It's acting kind of funny. It's not really necessary to act funny. It's just drying really fast. Like it's drying before I can get it spreaded. This is a heater, and it's like that close to it. I try to put that drop cloth on there to like take the heat away from it. It's not really working. Now this has a self level in it. If you notice, see how that right there is starting to look like it's kind of like swelling up and leveling out? It's because it really is. And they started putting a self level in it probably 6 years ago. So if you know how to work with it a little bit, it'll actually, you can spread paint where it looks like you sprayed it. And then some people like to get Penetrol. I think it's Floetrol. Floetrol is for latex, and Penetrol is for oil. Or is it Penetrol for oil? Yeah. Either way, it's an additive that you can add to your paint to slow the dry time down. I'm gonna put a nice little coat down here. And if you notice, I did all these that same way. I spread my paint down here, and then I'm gonna stretch it out, and then I'm gonna slide it up as far as I can. And see how it's like, that's what you want. Because when it dries, it'll be so cut up, you won't notice it. And just to give you an idea, you can do it like that too. There's only a couple different ways that you can actually blend. And it's not necessarily blending, it's just spreading it thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner, and separating the old and the new. And the reason why we do it like this, to give you an idea of what we're doing, we're just trying to trick your eye. So when you look at it and you say you notice this, but you look down here and it's like, well, I don't see it anywhere else, it's just right there. It's because that's what we're doing. Because the only way of actually fixing this window right is to just repaint it, right? And I get it. Some people already paid to have it fixed, so they know what it takes to have us come back in and do it again. You're talking a couple of days worth of work. So they think if we just come in and touch it up, it's better. It's really not, because if you notice, just to fix this spot right here, I ended up having to paint all that and then blending all this in. The only thing different is just cutting this out and painting it. You know what I mean? And at that point, I would have got a bigger brush. Right now, I'm just putting paint on the areas that don't have paint. Then I'll give it a once over. And if you get stuff like this, I like how I did it right here. What I did was just, I think my mic was off. But what I'm doing is just trying to put paint into wherever the chip is. I don't want to get past the chip and stuff like this. I'm doing the same thing, just on a bigger scale. And you'll see why I'm doing it. Because right now I'm doing it right here too. Like, there's a couple of spots across here. That's like that. Like, it's gonna get painted again. Like, I'm gonna cut this line right here out and contain it to this front piece, just so I have a decent little cutoff point. And that's 80% of the work, is having a decent little cutoff point. Because say if he was like, I wanted you to take this, we'd have to take this stuff out just to paint this, if that was the case. So we're trying to contain it to just this front piece right here. So I'm going to cut it out right here and use that little line for a guideline. Do something like that. But you see that? The reason why I'm just putting paint in the crack, or in the reason why I'm putting paint in just a spot that ain't gonna paint on it, is because if I try to touch this whole thing up, I would have to I'd be clear up in here trying to blend this stuff, like, and then I'd have to try to blend that. And the hardest thing is to blend a wall with semi-gloss. And normally we would fix this stuff, like these nicks and gouges. Like, normally I would sand that stuff out, but like I said, I was supposed to have been here a couple days ago. I just don't. I don't have the. It's not that I don't have the time. My the guy that pays me says that, but it's one of those things where it takes time to do this stuff. I mean, just think about it. Just to fix this right here, like I'm supposed to. It take me 3 or 4 hours to sand it, shot back it, spot prime it, and then run a coat on it. Because even though it looks like it's just this one piece, I gotta protect this, I gotta protect this, I gotta protect the forward. There's so much more that goes into it that people don't understand. And I think, like, yeah, it might take me 5 minutes to run a coat of paint on this, but if I don't get it ready to put the paint on, it's gonna look like crap. And right now I'm just trying to drag this out here to get a good. And unless you get paint on, unless you gotta explain how, like, why does it look different? That's why I'm trying to find. That's why I'm using this. That's why I'm using this little thing right here for a guideline. This is my cutoff point. From here, front is going to get repainted. Once that blends in, I'll show you why I did that. And same thing. Like, even though this is the same paint, if I get paint all over that piece right here, if I get paint all over this, it's going to look funny. So I'm going to paint just this board right here. And now we're going to touch this stuff up. I'm going to go right across that too. I use the same procedure I did up on top. And you can notice that's the front of the baseboard. So when you do this part right here, make sure you try to get underneath. You try to get it placed right there. That's your that's your shadow line. And I wanted to go just a hair back because that's actually got coffee in it. If you notice, it was cracked open. See how that right there dropped? He said he's not worried about. He said he's not worried about messing with that just yet. I think he's trying to see if it's going to keep doing it or what. Because if that crack keeps getting worse, then it means it's a structural problem. And seeing that this had raw wood, like it was pretty much scraped down to the raw wood because the doors sliding across it so many times, it pretty much sanded it down to raw wood. Whenever you got raw wood like that, it's a good thing to come back through it later when it's dry and slide another coat over top of it. Sometimes just getting a little artist brush will help too. And that's all you want to do is go through there and just it's hard to touch this stuff up because for some reason people think if you touch it up that you shouldn't see it. And it's not the case. You see everything. So how you touch up something without seeing it and trying to explain it to the homeowner, like say if I just like did it right there, it would have a square right there. It's like three different shades. And most people think just because you touch it up, it's the same paint touched up. No, it's not the case. It'll leave a flash mark, like a real bad flash mark. And that is what you gotta learn how to. It's hard. It's easier just to paint the front of this than it is to blend anything because you can't just blend anything. Yeah, I could trick the eye to a point, but that's only because this it's stuff that I've learned over the time. But in order to, but in order to actually do something to where, like just to come and touch your walls up, you can't do it. It's impossible. Now there's a ceiling paint that we can do it with, but it's flat, and Primark 400 is what it is. And we can come in after because we use Primark 400 on the ceiling, since it's probably the only paint that you can touch up and you don't see it. Any other paint outside of that, you're gonna see it. And some flats are way worse than others. Like trying to blend them in. So if you ever have somebody come in your house and you just want them to touch up something, it's easier just to paint it. This little fuzzy stuff right here, dang, the paint is a mess. But I just went across this just to clean it up a little bit. And needless to say, like this place has been painted for a while. But like, say you have stuff like that on your trim, it's easier just to paint the front of it, than it is to touch it up. But if you can, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and hit that like button. Once you get this drug out, now you can start taking it this way.